Hello again, this is a cow and I am working on another Transformers page, Webcomic. I made the investment of picking up a tripod, hope for some more professional quality, and here we are on panel 1. As established before, panel 1 has got the Sharkticons and Quintessons here fighting in the distance, as there are some defeated robots here. I'm not going to really say corpses because I guess they're just downed robots, and the others are charging onwards. Let me keep that light source kinda. Yes. So I'm going to start on the pencils. This guy is closer to us, so we want him to be a little bit larger to keep some three-dimensionality going on. Kind of interesting because generally when you draw, you want to draw things in angular type shapes in order to make them more organic as time passes, but in the case of Transformers, it's almost what you see is what you get, because when you draw those shapes you don't take a whole lot of angles out of them, seeing as how they're robots anyway. I'm probably going to make 2 videos of this, 2 of me doing the process and 1 finished one, because if I was to record the entire thing it would just take a really long time. Probably looking at 6 or 7 individual videos. I'd refer to the comic for reference in the cases of damaged robots, because you seldom get a lot of battle damaged Transformers in the show. I don't know whether they thought maybe it was violent, which, I mean, they're robots, so how violent could it really be considered? But it is a little, maybe for kids they could consider it disturbing when they see one of the robots they love and have the toy of is missing an arm, or has a bunch of circuits fizzling or something like that. Because the comic, the classic one, they did a pretty good job of showing that somebody was messed up. And the movie, the show has shown it's capable in episodes such as Dark Awakening, or even in the movie. You can see that it shows some battle damaged Transformers. Gonna end up having to grab a ruler for the distance and seek reference for the Quintessons and Sharkticons. Funny thing, as long as I've been a fan of the show, I've drawn dozens of Optimus Prime, dozens of Megatrons, all kinds of every cool or popular Transformer I drew, but I was really more G1 oriented. Well, not G1, just season 1, 2-ish oriented. So when you got to Quintessons and Shark, I've actually never drawn a Sharkticon before. It's not going to be a problem. The fact is, drawing a Transformer is drawing a Transformer. If you have a reference and you know what you're doing, you can do it. That's not really a deal. But I've never considered them. Oh, you know what? I feel like I want to draw a Sharkticon today. They're just kind of the mindless. I'm not going to say it's because they're mindless, because I drew a couple of Dinobots. They're probably dumber than the that's an interesting test. Who is dumber? The Dinobots or the Sharkticons? How would you really measure that? I personally want to say the Dinobots, but the Sharkticons don't say anything. We never had to have a conversation, talk about Cybertron politics, or see what they think of the Quintessons. They just follow orders. I guess they're just used to the subservience, or just being told what to do, because if they wanted to overthrow the Quintessons, they could. There's nothing the Quintessons can do to keep them in line. Not at this point in time. The writer was kind enough to send me a bunch of reference images of Cybertron, of Transform. I mean, I know how to find most all of them. I've got the movie, and on Netflix it has the entire show. And for these pages I did a lot of research on Five Faces of Darkness. One thing that I did want to look up was how big are the Quintessons compared to the Autobots? Because I didn't have a clear hold on that. I didn't really know how big are the Quintessons compared to the Transformers. I referred to the movie, the scene where Krennic is talking to Hot Rod and Cup, as oh, the Quintessons, those little guards that took Krennic out to the Sharkticons, they were about the same size as Krennic, who is not a head shorter than Hot Rod and Cup. So we're talking about they're about the same size. Then we come around to Five Faces of Darkness. I think it was part 2, where Ultra Magnus, and I think it's Cup, and 2 of them get kidnapped. I think it's Ultra Magnus and Cup get kidnapped by Quintessons, and the guys who were supposed to be the same size as Krennic and Hot Rod were tiny. They were like the size of Spike or something, maybe a little taller than Spike. So we got an inconsistency there. And the Five-Face Quintessons, they were the size of Ultra Magnus. So the Five-Face Quintessons are big, and the other guys had shrunk. Around that point, I realized, you know what, just pick a middle ground and stick with it, at least during my duration of this thing, because the show is not great on consistency. I'm not talking about things like Megatron's 2 stories tall and he turns into a handgun that a human being can hold. I'm not talking about stuff that's written in and they just like a plot device sort of thing. I'm talking about from one part of the screen to the other, or one episode to another, they mix around with the sizes. And I'm not going to elaborate too much on Optimus Prime's trailer that kind of comes and goes. He has used it once. Once he has used it. I think in one episode where they Attack of the Autobots, I think it was called. He did open it, and his little thing roller, it was also in the first episode, came out. So that roller the guy came out was in 2 episodes. Optimus Prime was in like 10 times, or like 20 times then. He's been in like a lot of episodes, so he barely used it. There's not really a reason to carry that trailer around. But it seems like it doesn't slow him down because it disappears when it's convenient for him. If you got disappearing technology, I'd use that for a couple of other things. There's one episode the Decepticons decided they wanted to shrink or do something to mess up the Autobots' recharging pods. They messed them up, and they almost beat them. But somebody was not caught in that. That perspective's wrong on here. I want to get the bottom of this. I'm going to erase this and make sure I got a... because I'm looking at the bottom of these areas, so it means the horizon line is going to be below. So I want to make sure this stays consistent. Yeah, but they had a good plan. They got the Autobots off guard. They got into their base, so you know where they live. Just blow it up. You Decepticons, attack it when they're not prepared. And Decepticons have a secret underwater base, but the Autobots happen to know where that is, too. Destroy it. Don't wait for them to come out. Don't wait for them to be prepared. Just get rid of those few guys, and you got the whole place is that much safer. But then we have no show, so it's like, is that really what we want? For what I was talking about, I sidetracked myself twice. Megatron has come close to beating the Autobots more than once, and when he gets close with his plan or his scheme, he just tells us that, well, it didn't work, so I guess I'm never going to try that again. Well, why not? If it almost worked this time, fix a little tweaks on it, and fix it 100% and make sure you do it right next time. There's no reason not to try it again. If you got that close, and it was just a technicality or a little snafu that caused it to not work, do it again. Try it again. But again, as like I said, we'd have no show if he was to destroy all the Autobots. But then again, that's not really true, because you got Transformers Prime where we have a competent Megatron, and that's an enjoyable show. Now, don't get me to try to compare the two, because I grew up on the one. I acknowledge Transformers Prime is a better written show. He doesn't keep Starscream around because he's treacherous, and yeah, that's probably a talk for another time. Well, I'm about running out of time on here. I'll continue on here on a different video. Thank you for watching.